All right, watch this. Think there might be some gas in the engine? Well, I knew I was going to have some carburetor issues because it was surging. But so what happened is it was locking up on me. It wouldn't even turn, and it was turning fine the other day. And I don't even know what happened, but anyway, there's the float stuck, and all the gas ran off into the engine block. So I took the spark plug out, turned it over, and this happened. So anyway, I'm going to take the carburetor off and I'm going to take a picture of the carburetor and the linkage because I'm not that smart. And I always forget what linkage goes where. They're all about the same. I'm going to take a picture of it. All right, so it's in the ultrasonic cleaner. I'm going to run it through a couple cycles. That came from Harbor Freight, by the way. It works pretty good. I've used it maybe 4 or 5 times, and it seems to clean them up real well. So I'm using half simple green, half water. And it's got a heat system, so anyway, it should be heating up. But these carburetors, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's got those 2 screws on the side. It's got that little diaphragm, the little gasket like that. I end up buying more of those and saving them. So if it doesn't run well after all this, I'm just going to buy one, and it's going to be $30, $28, and it's going to be the best thing for it. So when it gets finished cleaning, I'll come back. Hey, if you like this kind of content, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. All right, so it's several days later, my carburetor came in. So I'm going to show you why I ordered a carburetor. Look, this thing was $19, so I hope it works. But let me show you. Okay, so the number one thing is this is the old carburetor right here. And this plunger right here, can you see it right there? It's not snapping back. Now I lubed it, cleaned it. I can pull it back, but that should be moving. There's a spring and there, it should bounce right back. So that is one issue. Well, it's starting to now, but it don't have a good spring to it. So that's one issue. New one, I'm not even going to take this apart, but this has got it's got the new solenoid that springs good. This works proper. For $19, it's silly not to do that. So I've got $19 carburetors and $30 carburetors. I've only had just a few that didn't work. So really, I'm at the point now, I'm going to slap this back on there. I'll put it on time lapse so you don't have to watch all that. And seeing that other carburetor was surging. So between all that, it just needed to be replaced. Now I'm going to tag it. Look, got me some shop tags. So I'm going to tag it, Nikki, Briggs, 19.5 carb. And I'm going to put it up on the shelf. I'll put it up on the shelf just for parts. I mean, you know, the float and pin and the bowl. Just, you know, you might need something off one, repairing another one later on. And I know exactly what it is because I got it tagged. So let's go ahead and put it back on there. And now remember, I got to add oil back to this. I got to close the, you know, I got to do some things. So all the oil's out of it. But anyway, I'm going to put it back together. And before I mount it to the mower, I'm going to make sure it don't leak. And I'll show you how I'm going to do that. So what I'm doing is I hook the gas tank back up to the carburetor, and I'm going to sit it down here. Then this is really what I do after a clean one to make sure the bowl and the float's not sticking. But I'm gonna set it like this because that gas is now running into the carburetor. The float should be working properly and gas won't run out. Now, if gas started running out right here, then this would be well, that part of the carburetor would be bad, because that's what goes wrong with these Nickies like that. I've had 5 or 6 of them, and they flood the engine through here. Can you see that? Yeah. Through the engine, where it's mounted up to the engine. But anyway, that's where the gas comes out. But see, it's been up there long enough. You know, the gas tanks. The gas tank's up here, and of course it's gravity fed. So now I'm gonna put it on. Okay, so there it is, the new carburetor. Kind of got that boogered up. Seems like I do on every one. This, I always fight with those. But it's put in there correctly. There's no fuel coming out. So remember, I didn't have any oil in this, so I'm gonna put some oil in it. All right, I hope I remembered everything. I got oil in it. I just put 1 quart in, so I'm not sure it was reading funny. So I'm gonna run it for just a minute and let that oil filter get full. Well, this is the time of truth. I don't even know if the thing start. Now, why do I roll it outside? Because I've done it before, messing with the carburetor, gas leaking around and all that. I've had one catch on fire. So this is a wood building, so it's not a good combination. At least right there, I can roll it back if it starts flaming up. Anyway, let's see if it'll start. You know what? I didn't put the spark plug in. How about that? Spark plug might help. All right, I knew there was something I was forgetting. All right, let's choke. Let's see if it'll do it now. Of course, why it's smoking like that is because I had oil and gas and was flying everywhere. So it's all over that muffler. Usually what I do is I'll run that muffler, let it get hot one time, then let it settle down. Then I'll run it again, let it settle down. But I'm afraid if it gets too hot, it'll flame up. But there's a lot of gas floating around out here too. So, but man, that was perfect. Put a spark plug in, it actually ran. So new carburetor, $19. Just buy one. I mean, you know, off Amazon. All right, I call that a success. So the Nikki carburetors, now this was a 19.5 horsepower. The way I identify them is by the 2 bolts underneath. Well, you see that? It's got a screw on each side. It's Nikki carburetor. This is, you know, I'm sure it's for 20 horse and stuff like that. They are notorious for leaking, the bowl's leaking. And I'm not sure exactly where it's at, but it's notorious for the bowls leaking. In my small experience with them, I probably bought 5 of them because of that. I mean, when I saw that there's gas in the engine, I just knew that was the issue. So I'll put it back together. I'll mow with it once, make sure there's no other issues. Now, the last video, I fixed that steering. that's what I did with it, and it's holding together well. So I'll button all this up proper, get some video of it mowing maybe here after a while. All right, so I'm pretty happy. New carburetor, fixed the steering link. Mower deck sounds perfect, mows well. Pretty good machine now. You know, when I first got it, it was surging. So I knew I had to replace the carburetor, well, clean it. But then you saw the carburetor earlier, it was jacked up in a lot of areas. So $19, you can't go wrong. And so what I'll do, and I always mow with it or run it with the hood off, you know, for the first time to make sure that carburetor's not going to leak or there's not going to be oil leaking out of the, where I change the oil and all that. I just like to keep an eye on that. But I'm pretty much done with this video. So if you like this kind of content, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, because I'm always buying mowers that need a little bit of work, and I'll work on them. And sometimes I'm successful, like today, but sometimes I fail. So I'll show you those too. Anyway, that's it. All right, a little bonus footage for today. So a subscriber named John Stratton me a question on my last video, and he was asking about my hoist. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show you what I got going on. So John, when I had this built, I had, because I knew this is about where the hoist ought to be, so I had asked the builder to double up on that. I told him I was wanting to hang a hoist from it. So I got doubled up 2x4, so everything else is singles, right? So that one's doubled up. And then I just sandwiched two, there's probably 2x6s, ran a bolt through it. That's just bolts I had, they're way too long, but you know, they're in the center of the 2x4s. And then I just got this hoist up with chains, you know. That's pretty much how I got it arranged. And the builder act like, even if if he didn't double up on that, it's probably still be strong enough. But I asked him to do it anyway, because I didn't want any to fail. So right there's a chain hoist. And of course, this is about where I drive in at to lift up the front end or back end, whatever you want. So that's it. I hope you saw everything you wanted to see on that. I probably could have done it better right there, but you know, I could do chin-ups on it and it ain't going anywhere. So that question is from John Stratton, so I hope you got it, the answer you wanted. If not, ask me again. If anybody else has questions, just ask it, and I'll probably do something similar and put it in the next video. So, all right, guys, I'm out for sure this time.